Oh, baby. Let's go. You guys maybe have heard me talk about The Chosen before, TV show. You can download it for free, App Store on your phone. The Chosen. Search for it. You can watch the TV show for free. It's been awesome. I've been a fan since the beginning. I've watched this whole thing kind of unfold. It's unbelievable. I've been saying, you might have heard, I think it'll be the number one watch TV show of all time when it's all said and done. The Chosen. And they started from nothing, literally nothing. The guy that is the producer and the director, Dallas Jenkins, he was at rock bottom in his life, didn't know what he was going to do, decided to, you know, do The Chosen. And it's the largest crowd-funded show of all time by a mile, by a lot. Well, big things are happening. It's just grown and grown. They've gotten better. They started, limited funds. So it was all crowd funded here the past several seasons. And, so it's been awesome watching this. They've kind of come from nothing. And it's already I think it's got like 1 billion views. We did see it last year come on Netflix, season 1. That was cool. And then boom, it was on Hulu. The first 3 seasons were on Hulu, and now it's on Amazon Prime. You can watch the first 4 seasons, all 4 seasons. 4 seasons are out currently on Amazon Prime, and it just gets better and better and better. I'm saying this from someone, as you can see, I've been a fan. This is come and see. This is from The Chosen. Okay. I don't even know if I believe in Jesus or not. I mean, for all I know, the planet Earth could be sitting on the back of a giant elephant walking through an ocean, somewhere. So I don't know. Is Jesus real? I don't know. We're trying to figure that out. So I'm not even saying I'm some like Christian promoter here, and I still love the show. It brings me to tears. Okay. And so it's just been really cool watching this unfold. And then the Bombshell news just came out. I was watching it this morning, and it just brought me to tears when I watched the Heart of the People, this division in Amazon, an executive in Amazon, huge partnership with Amazon. And they're going to be promoting it like it's one of their featured big shows, So that's like, I don't know, we'll be watching some big event or, big football game, primetime football game. We'll see an Amazon Prime, who also, sponsors the NFL and has the Thursday night football. I think Thursday night, right, is Amazon. And, we'll be seeing, just like, remember, we saw commercials of like Lord of the Rings with Amazon, the TV show. And we'll be maybe seeing commercials of The Chosen, because it's been in their top 10 watched shows, I think for a long time, my understanding. No surprise. It starts off, they were a little tight on funds. They were just getting by. Their first 4 episodes they ever did, which I would say go watch it, man. They weren't even sure if they were going to get past the 4th episode. Each season is 8 episodes so far. Yeah, I think maybe this season is, yeah. Each season's 8 episodes, including season 5, which is coming out. We're going to show a couple trailers that just came out. It's coming out March 27th in theaters in America and all over the world. Other parts of the world, it's like in April, early April, maybe. And the first 2 episodes will be shown together at the theaters. And then 1 week later, there's going to be episode 3, 4, and 5. So 3 episodes played back to back to back, essentially in the theater. And then 1 week later, April 11th, we have the last 3 episodes. And it's like, that one's like a 3-hour-long movie. The first one's a 2-hour-long movie. You'll Get Hooked. Season 4 was phenomenal. A lot of it, especially early seasons. That season 1 was awesome. You see right here, that's Mary Magdalene. That's a scene from episode 1. I took just a picture of my phone right there. I took a picture of the wall that's hand painted. I bought it years ago. So the first episode's awesome, but it's a little cheesy at parts. It's a little Christianese at the beginning, especially, and some, some different parts throughout, like season 3, especially. So if but it's 10 times better by a mile than any other Christian, show or movie. And so I want to show you what Amazon Prime is doing. And I'm going to show you a couple things. First, baby, here we go. Let's watch the trailer. Let's go, baby. Brace yourselves. It's the bomb. I'm so stoked. Trailer of season 5 coming out March 27th in the United States in the theaters.
You must know something. I do believe that Jesus is most likely the Messiah.
Why?
Why what?
Why do you believe that?
I've seen too much.
Then why are you doing this?
I suppose I have not seen enough.
Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem.
You can run on for a long time.
My house shall be called a house of prayer, but you make it a den of thieves.
By what authority are you doing these things?
My own.
Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
We have a problem. Jesus operates entirely outside our jurisdiction. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees! Stop this at once! The world is changing, and Jesus offers a vision to redeem it.
He's not the Messiah!
Tell them that God's gonna cut you down.
Declaring yourself a sovereign. Rome will descend on us all!
Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
The Pharisees are plotting to arrest Jesus of Nazareth.
Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
I want peace, just like you. If you go through with this, our alliance is over.
Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
There is talk of a collaborator from within of his own followers.
Go and tell that midnight rider.
City's on edge. If you succeed, I'll be the one left to pick up the pieces.
Go tell that long-tongued liar.
I ask that you keep your distance from me in Jerusalem these next few days.
Why?
Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
You serpents! How will you escape being condemned to hell?
What have you done?
Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. How often are you going to see a Johnny Cash song in a Jesus show? Let's go. What makes this show so awesome is the flavor of Jesus. If you wonder what Jesus is like, I think this is one of the best pictures you'll ever see anywhere on TV. We've been talking here recently about what is Satan like. Okay. What is Satan? What was Jesus like? What was Satan like? We've been talking about the Bible, though God breathed, and they were carried along by the Holy Spirit, as they wrote the scriptures, it can be the devil's playground. Okay. And so a lot of people who read the Bible, they fall into a trap where they think God is a hard God and he's a judging God. It's like, you're going to hell, repent or perish. It's like, all right. But we've been talking a little about this. If Jesus is real, for all I know, we could be living in a simulation here. Okay. But if Jesus is real and the scriptures, okay, where Satan gets you, it's a ministry of condemnation. And you want to please God, you want to serve God, you want to follow God. And so it's strength in the flesh. It's our own mind saying, I want to go to heaven. I want to follow Jesus. And so out of our own ability, our own strength, our own flesh, we try and follow God. And it's a trap. It's like the Galatians trap, Galatians 5. Okay. And people think by their own ingenuity, they can serve God, by their own bright ideas from themselves. It's about them. And it relies on their strength instead of dying. We talked about this a couple shows ago. we die, we no longer live, but Christ lives in us. He makes us a new person, a new creature, a new creation, born of God, where we no longer live, but Christ lives in us. That's what we're lacking today, by the way, in the world. We've got a lot of fine sounding teachings, okay, but it lacks power. Where Paul said, I didn't come, remember, with eloquence of speech or wise and persuasive words as I proclaim to you the gospel and testimony of Jesus Christ. No, I came to you in weakness and fear and with much trembling, so that your faith might not rest on man's wisdom, but on God's power. All right. So, whereas so many Christians these days that call themselves Christians, like their faith is a private, it's like a personal thing that they just, kind of keep between them and God. And they're just, it's like we're derping through life. And what the hell are we doing here on earth? Why are we here? Right? We had that show the other day. I got real with you guys. And it's like, okay, you go to your 9 to 5 and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what's the point of life? We're trying to figure this out. And so when you look in scripture, here's the tricky thing. You think we tend to think, Satan, he tempts, he works the world through the world, the lust of the flesh, the pride of life, and the boasting of what one has and does, the boasting of what one does and what one has. Okay. And that's true. Sin creeps in and temptations. Okay. But really the deeper thing here to remember is that Satan is called an angel. He masquerades as an angel of light. And it's no wonder that his ministers masquerade as ministers of righteousness. It's a righteous message. It's righteous. And so we saw Jesus there in that, right? We just saw Jesus in that. We saw Jesus in that trailer, saying, you brood of vipers, how can you escape being condemned to hell? You know what? Jesus didn't hardly ever really say anything like that to the sinners, the tax collectors, the publicans, the average Joe Blows. It wasn't a hard message. You know who he spoke the hard message to? The Pharisees, the teachers of the law, those who were sincerely trying to follow God. In some cases, we'll say sincerely, other cases hypocritically. Okay, they're faking it. And he called them out for their hypocrisy. And he said to the Pharisees, your father is the devil and you do his work. Ministers of righteousness. Satan is called an angel of light. He masquerades as an angel of light. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing, so he looks like a sheep. Okay, but he's a wolf seeking whom he may devour. And it's no wonder that his ministers masquerade as ministers of righteousness. It's condemning. It's heavy. It puts loads on your back to make it to heaven, and they won't lift a finger to help, he said. And it's a judgmental, it's judging, it's hard, it's a hard message, it's heavy. It says Satan stands before the throne room of God, condemning the saints, accusing the saints day and night. He's called the accuser of the brethren, accusing. It's a hard message. And a lot of people look at Jesus that way. They look at God that way because he said a lot of hard things. He did. You can't escape that. But you know what? The hardest things he said were always against the religious people who, in their own eyes, they were right before God. They thought they knew God, but they didn't. They were deceived. And he said, the devil is your father. You must be born again. Humble yourself like a child. You must become like a little child and be born again. It's a totally different concept, totally different message. You become nothing. You die. You die, and the Spirit comes in and makes you a new creature and a new creation, born of God, where you no longer live, but Christ lives in you. All right. And so instead of my own bright ideas and my own understanding of what I think God is like and what I think God wants me to do, we need reality, people. We need the real. Where's the real thing at? We need the power of God, a living and active God who's actually real, who actually, that's like what we're lacking in the world. What the hell's real? What's up? What's down? I have no idea. I mean, it's like more than, and I'm on Pharisees Anonymous here. So we get broken down. It's like, another principle in scripture. It's law to the proud and grace to the humble. Okay. And what that means is you're proud. You think you know God. You think you're anything. I mean, God even rebuked Job, who was actually blameless, and he still rebuked him, right? Who was blameless because, Job was like defending himself and God rebukes him hard. But of course, Job was like one of the awesome dudes in scripture who kept it real. And so it's law to the proud. It's a harsh message until you get broken down. It's essentially becomes a ministry of brokenness. So just, if you can learn this right away, you'll save yourself some pain, a lot of pain, because what God has done for me, I mean, if God is real and I'm, holding out a tiny little weensy bit of hope that he is, that he's just broken me down, a breaking and 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 a breaking. And then I think I know God now, I've gone through, and you learn and grow in wisdom, and just to come to realize, nope, the devil's still your father, my man, and you're a liar. And it's like, until it's like my spirit and my soul died, but when I watch this show, so a little bit of hope there that, when we are broken down, God draws near to the brokenhearted, the poor, and he was called a friend of sinners, and he was called a drunkard. All right. He wasn't hard. He was eating with tax collectors and sinners and prostitutes. And so he wasn't out there, saying repent or perish to the world all the time. No, he was kind and gentle, and he was like a dude that is approachable. And that's what the whole new covenant is about. We draw near to God and he draws near to us. We have a living and active God who's actually working and talking to us. It's an actual effectual relationship that's real. It's not a belief system. It's not a religion. It's actual power from God. It's real. And I don't want anything else. Forget it. I'm out. I don't want religion. It's not about going to a church that oftentimes they're just businesses, and they have to rely on black letters on a white page because they lack the power of God. It's not real. It's a business. It's a career. Nope. You cannot serve both God and money. It's a different domain. Do you want reality, or do you want to just derp your way through this world and through life? I mean, we talked about how the hell did we get here in the first place? And so it's like, what is even the point of life? Why are we even here? What's the point? It's like, I would say that to Jesus. Like, what the hell, Jesus? Like, this is nuts. And so, all right. So, but when I watch this show, it's like, woo, it's good, man. It's the right flavor of Jesus. He's a loving shepherd and I've never cried so much in my whole life combined as much as I have watching this show. All right. So I've got there's another teaser. Let's watch it, baby. This is awesome. Okay. Let's see. History. Let's watch the teaser. This is another banger. And I'm going to show you a couple other things. And I want to show you this conversation that they had with Amazon Prime executives. Okay. All right. Let's go. This is so good. It's so freaking good.
Listen carefully, because I'm going to tell you what is about to happen.
This is my Father's word. Oh, let me never forget.
is coming.
God is the ruler yet.
Let's go. Let's go. Okay, and so in the description below, you can, follow. I suggest just download the app. It's free. You can watch the show on your phone. You can put it on your TV, your smart TV. In many cases, you can, like on Roku, I think. And so I just watch on Amazon Prime now. Is it time to get out of here with Netflix and and Disney Plus and Max and go with Amazon Prime, who is just from a business sense, just purely from a business sense, it's smart to not be cramming down the woke nonsense down our throat all the time. And just the whole mindset, especially with Cinemax or with Max or whatever, or Showtime, bought Max or what. And it's just always this dark. There's never a real, I guess it's true in a sense. There's not like a real hero in real life. Everybody, all their shows, it's just dark and hopeless. Everything's hopeless. We're lied to. A lot of it is true. Why not show, like half the country or a good third of the country would appreciate a show like this. So it's just smart. Okay. And I love what they're doing, what Amazon is doing. We got to watch this here. I'm going to talk about a few more things. This is really good. This just happened the other day.
Chance to hear directly from some of the folks at Prime Video. You need to hear from them that they respect you, that they love you. And so Amanda and I, who for the last year or so have been really pouring a lot of time and prayer into this and wanted to meet with everyone that we were considering working with. Spent a lot of time with these folks. And so there are two folks in particular. One is named Vernon Sanders. He's the head of television at Prime Video. And Tracy Black.
This is the head of television at Prime Video, like executive at Amazon Prime. All right. So it's like, let's go. This is a big deal. This is Dallas Jenkins, by the way, who is the brainchild behind this. He's got a gift for this. He's gifted. And, we're all just people. He's not perfect. There's a lot of parts of the show maybe that I, would do a little different. There's some cheesiness in there, but you get past it, especially in those early, once you get to the end of season 1 and season 2 is such a banger. And then season 3 was, it was good, but it's really good. And then season 4 is just a banger. It's like, whoa. And it brings, he goes through great pains to bring, if you know the scriptures, it's 10 times better, someone who knows the scriptures. But even if you don't know the scriptures, it's going to be awesome. I'll show a little part here, testimony here at the end of this. There's like a million of them that I'm going to show you out there. So this is a big deal. And a lot of people maybe are kind of freaking out. It's like, wait, there's a lot of haters, of course, but like a Christian haters, like I would say, that are more like Satan than they are like Jesus, judging, condemning, nitpicking. That's what Satan does. He likes to nitpick you and put you down, and you suck. And you know why you suck? Because you suck. It's a ministry of condemnation. That's how Satan functions, period. It's like he'll beat you down, and he'll even use truth to do it. And he'll use scriptures to do it. And we all suck. All right. It's like once you even try and start to follow Jesus and whatever, and you go down this road, you're just going to realize you suck. And it's like, it's true even. But when Jesus comes and speaks and the Spirit comes, even if the Spirit doesn't condemn, the Spirit comes to convict. And if the Spirit convicts of sin, which he will, there's no getting around that. But it's a joy. It brings a joy and a peace. And it's like, it's different than a condemning spirit. So, all right, very different. And that's how you can recognize what voices are speaking to you. Okay. And what voices your own head is speaking to you. Is it beating you down, condemning, or is it, even if it's sin, conviction of sin, righteousness and judgment, or whatever. Like we have we have to, especially in this era of planet Earth, this crazy world. Like the only thing that logically makes sense at all whatsoever is that if Jesus is real, he's got to be a good God. Because otherwise, what I think all the time, I get pissed off at God. I'm like, what God, what the F? My buddy made a website like Jesus, what the F, except he spelled out the F. Just for me. He did this funny. And because it's like, what the heck? Like, this world is nuts. Why did you do this? What's the even point of being alive? Why am I here? It's like, this is nuts. What's the point of all this? Well, maybe there's an answer. All right. And I'm just searching for that answer. Whatever. We can talk anything. But we can talk about the Greek gods or simulation theory or even evolution, which by far takes the most faith to believe, as we've talked about. Whatever's real, I just want truth and reality. That's what I want. And, this is a good picture, this show and what they're doing. And so to see how far they've come, to see how far Dallas Jenkins has come through all this, it's wild. It's crazy. He's done such a good job. And it's awesome. So an executive at Amazon.
Well, who is
it's like
that we were considering working with. Spent a lot of time with these folks. And so there are two folks in particular. One is named Vernon Sanders. He's the head of television at Prime Video. And Tracy Blackwell, who is one of the creative executives. And they've been the two executives at Prime who have been the most responsible for getting this across the finish line and getting this to Prime. And I really want you to meet them because I know that you're concerned. I know that those of you who are a little bit nervous or frustrated by the fact you have to wait a little longer, that's frustrating. But there's also some of you who are willing to watch it on Prime, but who are going, all right, what's going to happen here? What do I need to be aware of? What do we need to be concerned about? And so Amanda and I had a conversation earlier with Vernon and Tracy, and I really want you to hear from them. So check out this conversation with Vernon and Tracy. When we come back, I'm going to show you another sneak peek of The Chosen Adventures. I'm going to also give you the opportunity.
This is so good. I'm telling you.
To be part of season 6 and let you know all about
this. Brought me to tears when I saw this girl.
So still more to come. I want to tell you more about some of the new gifts we've got, but check out this conversation that I had with Tracy and Vernon right now. This is big, right? It's been a long time coming. And the reason that I wanted Amanda on to talk to you guys is because she's been a big part of this as well. We've been in rooms with you several times. We've cried together a few times. Tracy has probably cried many times.
More than anyone else.
Yeah, more than anyone. So one of the first things I want to say, and Vernon, we'll get to you in a second, but I think you'd agree Tracy's the most important person on the call. Yeah. Tracy, would you mind sharing just how this started? Because we were just making the show, and then I get a call from my agent saying, there's this new person at Amazon who is very, very passionate and wants to talk to you about The Chosen. So just give me your title and what you guys are calling yourselves now, and then how this started.
Well, my title is Senior Creative Executive at Amazon. And first of all, I just want to say I'm a huge, and you all know this, I'm a huge, massive fan of the show. I was obsessed with this show before I came to Amazon.
So that's point number one. And I think either they're phenomenal liars and storytellers, but I get every sense that she is being 100% genuine. Like she is called. She says this. She was called to go work for Amazon as an assistant executive. Okay. And specifically for this niche that Amazon is doing for like Christian value type content on Amazon Prime, which, Netflix is doing a little better. And the other things are doing better at this, but it's like clear. We also see what Netflix and Disney and Max, we know what they stand for. It's like, we're kind of sick of the woke BS nonsense crap that you keep pumping out. And Amazon has already gone way further to have sort of like a blend of all different types of content, not just woke Hollywood nonsense, right? Hello? It's like you would think they would. Are they just crazy, or is there something deeper at play? Is there something deeper at play? There could be. Remember, we say we trust nothing on this channel. One odd thing, side note, is that the actor Jonathan Rooney, he's great. He's a great Jesus actor. I mean, phenomenal. But he's a Templar. That's like what you don't just become a Templar, so it's like bizarre. Who knows? I do know, I'm hoping the best. I'm not trust nothing, but I'm hoping the best that this guy Dallas, not perfect, whatever, but he's just kind of being led by God here. I mean, it's definitely resonated with the depths of my soul many times and brought me to tears, in a lot of different ways. And so this gal goes to work for Amazon Prime as like this main executive assistant on this niche. Okay. And she's legit. This is so cool hearing this story.
I could tell you what, characters I love, what storylines I love, what my favorite scenes are. Like, I am a huge super fan of the show. And so when I came to Amazon, like Vernon brought me in, they brought me in to specifically do this and some other things. And I want the audience to know, I did not have to convince Amazon to do this. They wanted to do this programming. They knew that this audience was vastly underserved.
They wanted to do this. They knew this audience, aka Christian, non-woke, non-psycho, liberal, leftist, lunacy, Hollywood nonsense. Okay, like wholesome type content. And we're going to hear from him. And I think it's genuine. And so it's just like, whoa, this was so cool. This is what I've been saying, that The Chosen will be the #1 watched TV show of all time. And it's just a matter of time. I believe it.
And that they wanted to obsess over these customers. They wanted these customers on Prime Video, and they wanted to give them premium, elevated content, quality faith content. And so I did not have to convince anybody to do anything. This is the joy, the dream of my life, I have to tell you. I'm a believer. I'm a bold believer. I'm a follower of Christ. And it was great to be in a place where I didn't have to hide that. But we just went about this goal of how can we obsess over these customers? How can we bring this quality content to Prime Video?
Well, I think, Vernon, you were going to say something because I think she's underselling herself a little bit.
She is. This has been a multi-year mission inside of Prime Video. Our leadership, this is important to our leadership, both personally and professionally. We have seen great results when we've leaned into this audience. And so we knew that we needed to go out and find experts. So our first hire was
go out and find experts, meaning AKA genuine, authentic people in faith-based Christian, AKA. All right. This is so good. I think this is so good and so genuine.
It's Tracy, and I remember the meeting after she started. And I said, okay, Tracy, you're at Amazon now. So the thing is, if we wanted to go big, what could we do? Like, what's the biggest things that we could do that you go, okay, these aren't possible. And honestly, the first thing that came out of her mouth was, have you seen The Chosen?
Let's go.
And
let's go.
I'm a believer. I'm a bold.
Let's go.
Multi-year mission inside of Prime Video. Our leadership, this is important to our leadership, both personally and professionally. We have seen great results when we've leaned into this audience. And so we knew that we needed to go out and find experts. So our first hire was Tracy, and I remember the meeting after she started. And I said, okay, Tracy, you're at Amazon now. So the thing is, if we wanted to go big, what could we do? Like, what's the biggest things that we could do that you go, okay, these aren't possible. And honestly, the first thing that came out of her mouth was, have you seen The Chosen? And
mic drop.
Mic drop.
We just got to hear it one more time.
Okay, let's make that happen. So that was like day one, literally day one, Tracy.
I wish I could go back like 10 seconds.
Okay, these are impossible. And honestly, the first thing that came out of her mouth was, "Have you seen The Chosen?" And this thing is incredible. And I'm telling you, as big as it is, it's about to be so much bigger. And we have to go build a relationship. And I was like, okay, let's make that happen. So that was like day one, literally day one, Tracy.
Yeah.
It was the first thing. And I suspect that call to your agent came immediately after that meeting of, okay, let's go make that happen.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I got that call, and so they set up a meeting, and I met with you, Vernon, and Tracy, and it might've been Jen on the first call. I don't remember. Maybe that might've been the second call, but I just remember your passion. And I remember telling Amanda, boy, they really seem serious. Like they really seem like I'm usually pretty good at knowing if someone's just putting me on, and I'm like, they really seem authentically excited. I think that Amazon is clearly the most customer friendly, customer knowledgeable organization or company in the history of the world, by both intent and data. And I thought, wow, they would be someone who wouldn't be, not only wouldn't be embarrassed by a project like The Chosen, but would actually understand why it could be for their audience. And
a safe partner. That it seemed like if they're allowing their creatives to go in a lot of different directions,
right.
They're not trying to stifle where the art is going, where the messaging is going, all those things that you see at other places.
Yeah. So Vernon, can you speak to that a little bit as to?
Yeah. So they're not going to stifle the message. He has full freedom. They're not going to get in the way. They're not going to get in the way of that at all.
Because you're the head of television, and so you're someone who's responsible for ensuring that you guys are hitting multiple audiences. What's your kind of mandate and your commitment to that breadth, not just trying to only appeal to, like what certain other streamers might be focused on?
Well, I think you said it. We are truly, it sounds corny, but we are customer obsessed. We are really trying to be a huge destination for global audiences. And we come to this with great humility. We don't think we know exactly what every person wants to watch, but we do want to find the best storytellers and give them the resources to tell stories on a grand scale and allow them to do those things in their own voices. And so, one of the ways I talk about this, I think I mentioned it, we look at ourselves as an extension of Amazon as a great library. Mm-hmm. And part of what you're going to a great library is to read different authors and their incredibly specific voices. But, for that to work, it means that it shouldn't have a heavy hand coming from some corporate organization. Instead, we should give you guys the resources. We should magnify your ability to reach people and trust. And so I think what I'm so excited about this partnership is it really has been years and years of building trust. And I think demonstrating, hey, creative control, that's yours. You have an expertise in how to reach people in marketing and messaging. We want to lean into what you're doing. And it's coming from a sincere place of what you've done already. And I say this to you, every person who's watching right now, because I think they have a real stake in this as people who've helped build this. We are in awe, and we want to respect what you've done so far, and we just want to help you get the word out more and support it in a bigger way if we can.
And we wanted you to have partners that you could trust, and partners that spoke the same language. And so that was part of my conversation.
Whoa, you mean like partners in business that, actually follow the golden rule? What an amazing, bright idea. Hello? The key to success in business, by the way. All right, we're going to talk a little more about this. We're going to let them finish.
Conversation with you, Dallas, when I flew down to Utah to meet with you. I wanted you to know that, I see you. I understand this audience the way you understand it. And we wanted, even if we had creative conversations, we wanted you to understand that, you have somebody in an executive who understands the word, who knows the story. And it's not to say that there aren't, people at other platforms that know the story as well, but that you had somebody in me who you could trust and somebody in Vernon who you could trust. So if we did have a creative conversation about the content, that you were speaking to people who really understand what you were trying to do.
Yeah. Talk about, so when I finally introduced Amanda to you guys, because she has obviously a huge part of this as well. And for us, it's not just about who's the biggest partner and who's had the most success and who's going to generate the most income. Those are actually lower on the totem pole for us than trust. And so I'm like, she needs to be in this room. But talk about when you first met with them, and we talked about how, like, here's why you shouldn't work with us, because that the audience is going to be concerned about potential partnerships and losing control.
Yeah, I mean, we had gotten to this place where we knew we were maxed in certain ways. We needed additional partners who could help us reach more people. That's what we needed. We got the messaging, we got the quality control. We have, we have the love of the word and fidelity to the word and all those things, but we needed to go beyond what we were capable of doing. But those meetings were scary because you have to have trust. And that's really why it's taken so long.
Right. So they're trying to get it out there to the whole world. So we're going to talk about potential downsides here in a second. What haters might be saying. I've already seen them out there. It's weird. Okay.
But I went with him out to LA and we had a number of meetings back to back with a lot of different, honestly, wonderfully lovely people. But I was so prayed up going into those meetings because I'll just be honest, I was so afraid to choose wrongly. Dallas and I feel so much, it's an honor, but there's so much pressure in stewarding this thing. And
yeah, I mean, you're like partnering with the beast here, Amazon, like one of the largest conglomerates in the world that, does a lot of questionable things at best, we'll say. So, it is a big decision. He said it. It's not about the money. And I kind of like choose to believe him. I don't trust anybody on earth and never probably will again. But, we're just hoping the best here, staying radars up, just like we do with everything else. So, okay.
Turn right or we turn left, or we going to mess up this thing? And we live with that, and that's okay. But so we were this trip was bathed in prayer, I would say. And so I'm going out and I'm meeting all these people, and this room with these two people felt different. I don't know how else to say. There was heart connection, like they've already been describing for the reasons they've been describing. And I just enjoyed being with them around the table. And you could just see a different heart behind these people. But then Dallas goes into this whole pitch about, okay, here's why you should not work with us. And which is a funny thing for a creative to say to a room of a distribution partner.
So Dallas was throwing water on the fire, and he was almost like trying to not make the deal. All right. You hear that? Like, that's the spirit. Elisha, you had the prophets of Baal, and then Elijah in the Old Testament, and they were saying, if your God's real, and so Elijah said, all right, let's put up a whole bunch of wood. Like they made a huge like wooden pile and said, if your God's real, if Baal's real, call your God and light it on fire. Real. Like, that's what we need today more than ever before. We need the reality of a real living and active God. And so what the prophets of Baal did, they screamed, they hollered, they started cutting themselves, they're cutting themselves, calling on their God. You're probably sacrificing children or something, like, for all we know. Okay. And no fire came down from heaven and consumed. Then Elisha poured water on the wood first and calls to God, and God still, boom, sends down fire, consumes it. That's kind of where that statement comes from. He's putting water on the fire with this relationship. And they were so eager to work with them because it feels genuine. We're cautiously optimistic. We're going to talk a bit more on this.
Yeah, highly powered and successful people who can elevate your show.
All the time. Yeah. And you're really forthright in these rooms saying you shouldn't work with us because we maintain total creative control, and you shouldn't work with us because the show will always be free, and you shouldn't work with us because we care more about the message than we do about money. I mean, none of these things are popular in Hollywood in general.
That's not how you go make a deal, right? No, it's just he's being real and authentic. That's actually how an awesome business partnership works. All right, but he wasn't in there trying to wheel and deal and weasel his way in there. And all right.
And no one even blinked in that room. Everyone just understood. I felt really, like Tracy even said, I felt really seen, like that we have a mission beyond making a cool show. We want to make a cool show, and we need cool people who know what they're doing. But it was just, for us, it was, we need to heart connect with people. And these two people were across the table from me, and literally, and we were crying at different times. I love these people. I trust these people. And so I was excited to come today to say it.
We feel the same way about you. I mean, I'll let Vernon speak for himself, but like, this honestly and truly, and your viewers should know this. This is not just a job to me. This is not just another show I'm working on. This is an assignment for me. This is a God-given assignment. I truly believe that a huge part of the reason why I was brought to Amazon was to not just work on this kind of content, but to bring this show to the service. So this is a mission. Like, I'm on assignment from God doing this work. And so this is a personal relationship. You all are family. You're stuck with us, honestly. And I couldn't be more thrilled.
Yeah. And Vernon, what would you say to the viewer who is nervous about this show that they love so much going, getting impacted by outside forces? Because I think it's one thing to hear it from me, but another thing to hear it from you as the executive kind of responsible for the show.
I would say, please trust us. Please know that we approach this, as I said, with humility, but also understanding how precious and special this show and this community is. I would say, we've had incredible conversations about all the protections we need to put in place to ensure that effectively Amazon can't get in there and do a bunch of scary things. But I want you all to hear and sense from both Tracy and myself, and know that there are dozens of people behind us. That is not our intent at all. And we've sought out additional relationships with people. Dallas introduced us to John Irwin. That sort of led us to a conversation with the wonderful.
I guess there's a new show called The House of David that's already out. Maybe that just came out on Netflix. It's supposed to be good, I've heard.
Project, which is a separate thing, but even with them, we sort of, with humility, said we don't want creative control. You all have an expertise, you have a voice, you know what you're doing. We just want to help you with resources, and we really want to help you with marketing in ways that you're comfortable with, so that we can help you build outward.
Yeah, and I've spoken with the team behind House of David that you guys are putting together, and they said they're amazing. Vernon's amazing. Amazon's been great. They've honored all of their promises. We feel like the show is elevated because of them, and so you've proven yourselves. We'll close with this because you just hinted at it, Vernon. It's not enough, and I've said this to you in the room too. We aren't just looking for only what we do and what we have, and then we're just going to place it on your platform, because we can do some things that you can't. But there's things you do and people you reach and infrastructure that you provide that we can't. And resources, even financial resources. So just speak to that as to what Prime Video is hoping to do to help put gasoline on the fire of this project.
There are many dimensions to Amazon. If you really think about it, it's not just Prime Video. We have, we have a books relationship. We have a music relationship. We have Amazon Web Services, like when you think about the expanse of the company, it's huge. We, in the best ways, we want to lean in as a company to help build what you've done, and again, do it with respect and honor, do it with grace. But we're excited about what we think we can help in terms of making this an even bigger thing than it already is. And again, said with humility.
I love that you mentioned Amazon has book relationships, as though that's a fair statement. I think you guys have you have your fingers in a few different things.
We have some grocery stores. We have free shipping. We have a lot of things.
We have a few things. You're demonstrating your humility right now.
No, but he means that. I mean, when we say we said with humility, we mean it. I told Vernon, we have to be, if we're going to do this, we have to be in business with the best. And you guys are the best. And that's why I was like a dog with a bone. I was like, we have to be in business with Dallas Jenkins and The Chosen. So we're excited.
Well, thank you. Well, we love you.
Okay, my man. So we're not going to we trust nothing. I think we've been around long enough to realize trust nothing. So he asked us to trust him. Okay, they are, again, like I said, one of the largest conglomerates on earth, probably a part of the beast here. Okay, so there's that. So why would they want to show something like this on their network? Well, and then in addition, another little weird oddity is the character that plays Jesus is a Templar, with the Masons. You don't just become a Templar, so there's, we always got to be cautious. But, just from a purely pragmatic standpoint, I think this will become the most watched show of all time. Apparently, so they were with a company called Angel Studios for their first 3 seasons, which is like a Mormon company or something, like a Jews and Mormons or something own it. And a lot of people were weirded out. A lot of the haters were hating on that. And, and then 4th season, they, I think they were just pretty much on their own app, and it still kept growing. And so it's like, just from a pragmatic, and apparently Angel Studios profited like something like $200 million. Is that possible? That's what I heard. So they lost that deal. And so from a pragmatic standpoint, if you're Amazon, why not tap into a massive market to do this? And if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. So you got to get the real thing in there, right? The real people in there. So I don't know. Jesus works in mysterious ways. He can speak through a donkey. And so, there's a lot of haters here that kind of disagree. They nitpick on certain things and, scriptural nitpicky things. For the most part, I'll tell you, someone who's memorized the entire New Testament and huge chunks of the Old, for the most part, it's pretty much like spot on. It's just an awesome picture of Jesus. It's not perfect. There's going to butcher stuff up, of course. But I mean, considering the circumstances here, it just seems life-giving. It's been one of the few things on planet Earth that's like, that's made me like, on my atheist side of my brain, be like, And so, and there's literally like 1 million testimonies here like this guy that we're about to watch.
We're seeing God do amazing things. Thank you.
I grew up in South Africa in a Hindu family. Had a lot of rituals because we have lots of idols and gods. I became a science teacher when I came to Wales. Science was my religion. I taught evolution like it was gospel. I actually preached that to my students.
Preaching evolution because it takes more faith, like we said, to believe in that, right? So what the hell's real? Are we on the back of an elephant's ass, or, what's going on here? Is it the Hindu gods? Is it the Muslim? Is it Allah? Is it the Greek gods? Is it evolution? What's real? How do we get here? How did we get here? How do we get here? I mean, nobody can really answer that, right? Let's have reality. You know, if Jesus is real, let's see it. Like Elisha, you know, it's like, but wait, when you look into things, you know, it's like Jesus, death, burial, and resurrection. It's pretty much solidified in history. All of it. I was listening, you know, we talked about Lee Strobel's Case for Christ. We were talking about that it just popped on my phone when I was sleeping. I fell asleep and it just popped up, Lee Strobel with Sean Ryan of all people, you know, talking about his book, The Case for Christ and stuff. So this guy, it was like a professor. He was an evolutionist. All right.
I used to go for a long walk. Each time I should be out of breath, trying to figure out what's going on. I went to the hospital. The lung specialist says, I've got some bad news for you. He says it's stage 4 lung cancer. There is no cure. So I asked, what's the prognosis of the cancer? And they said, it's 4 months. Yes. I trusted science to give me the answers to all the questions that I had in life. And the most important question, I couldn't get an answer. I'm trying to figure out, what do I do now? My family is new to Wales. You put a front to everybody else, but inside you have this fear. I think the fear was for me, what's going to happen after I die? Christopher was one of my colleagues at school. He was always encouraging, kind, compassionate. He said, can I send you a link to The Chosen? So I watched the first season. I binge watched it. So season 2, episode 1, 19 minutes, 42 seconds. God pursues the sick
more than the healthy. Think of it this way.
Hey, what's this here? He's talking to me.
I have a very warm place in my heart for shepherds.
And then Jesus talks about the shepherd that will always go out to look for the lost sheep. I said, that's me. And something came over me. I just can't explain it. I started feeling hot. I started trembling. I called my cousin, the pastor. I couldn't get the words out, even to talk to him. And he would say, are you okay? So he said, why don't you try the Alpha course? I just Googled it. I said, okay, Alpha course, Wales. And it was the most amazing experience I had. You listen to other people and you watch the evidence, and then you realize this is real. This man, Jesus, is a real person. He walked the earth. And that's the point where I now have to give my life to Jesus. Today, I still have cancer, but I don't have any fear anymore. I live with joy every single day because of the gift that God has given me.
And it's been like several years. He's still alive.
It's an amazing journey that I've gone through. From a skeptic to a reborn Christian, I feel truly blessed. 2 years down the line, here I am.
Okay, so there's millions of similar testimonies, but it's not even about, even if you're an atheist and you watch the show, you'll just enjoy it. It's worth the watch. That's what I'll say there. And so now there's a lot of haters about this, and it's, you know, some reasonable red flags potentially. Okay. So it's like, as for me, just remain cautiously optimistic. I know the effect that this show's had on me. It's like insane. It's totally, I can't even put it to words, honestly. And so, my advice to Dallas Jenkins would just be to focus on your average Joe who don't focus on your good old boy Christian. That's not your audience here. The audience needs to be the world. And so get the Christianese cheesy stuff out. And I think he's already moved in that direction more. And so don't worry about, just remember Satan is the accuser. Satan will make you feel dumb, a failure. You suck, and you know why you suck, because you suck. And it's not that's not even true. Okay. It's a condemning, heavy message. You'll never make it. You don't add up. Whereas Jesus always comes when the Spirit speaks. It's one of joy, uplifting. It's not condemning, even in conviction, when he convicts of your sin and whatever, how much of a loser you are, he gives you hope. That's the difference. When Satan condemns, it doesn't bring hope. But if you still have breath in your lungs, you have hope. And anything else, I would say, comes from the devil. And I'm, again, speaking from not my atheistic half of my brain, because I'm still trying to figure this out myself, but from what the scriptures teach. The Spirit will come to convict of sin, but it brings hope and joy and peace and love. Okay. It's like a love. And so remember that. Don't worry about the heavy messages coming at you from, when I've read a gazillion, every single post that they make, you see 50 more people on there sharing their testimony of how the show changed their life. You can watch it on previous episodes on even on YouTube. You can watch them probably on Twitter, but just download their app, Chosen app. Couple more real quick things. I got to go. My son, I'm going to be late, but couple more things. I wanted to give a couple little shout outs to there's a whole bunch of other channels that talk about The Chosen, and this guy, The Chosen Sleuth.
So The Chosen Season 5 is fast approaching. We do know that the first episode of The Chosen Season 5 is going to be in theaters right at the end of
this is his channel, and he's he is the number one guru. He's number one nerd, drink the Kool-Aid of all time when it comes to The Chosen, and he's not afraid to criticize and nitpick in an uplifting type of way. He criticizes and nitpicks every little thing, but he's a huge fan, and he breaks it down. He knows the Bible, and he'll break down all kinds of stuff. He also, he talked about as well. So it's a good channel. It's in the description below, and then just today I was watching something from him where he gave this other dude a shout out. Is it this guy? Yes. Brandon.
Is it true that every marriage is annulled in heaven?
Brandon Robbins. He was giving him a shout out. He's got some good stuff on there. Okay. And he talks, he's real close with Dallas. So he kind of has a council of people from different, different denominations, within Christendom that, they hash out scripture. They hash out some of the details, and he's got like a council that helps guide him on doctrine and stuff like that disagrees with one another. They'll hash stuff out. He's one of them. And then also, and he's pretty good. Also, I like these guys, and there's a whole bunch of others. I can't even mention, like this movie guide, did something. There's a whole bunch of people doing stuff, but these guys remind me. These guys kind of remind me of the Hodge twins. They're funny. and they talk about, they break it. They're like Messianic Christians, Messianic Jews, Christians. Yeshua is what they call Jesus. And so, which is like Joshua translated. It's weird that Jesus is even the translation. If you want to call him Yeshua, just call him Joshua, but his name's Jesus. So you got to, I don't know, go with that, I guess. So these guys are good. They're fun. They're funny to watch. They kind of break down a lot of the episodes. So I'm pumped for the show. I got to run. I love you guys. Peace out. They're in the description below too.